The golden cage Ethan Cross stood at the floor-to-ceiling windows of his Manhattan penthouse, the city lights shimmering below like distant stars. At 36, he had built a tech empire that made him one of the youngest billionaires in the world. His reflection in the glass showed a man who had everything: sharp cheekbones, perfectly styled dark hair, and piercing blue eyes that had charmed investors and rivals alike. Yet tonight, those eyes held a restlessness no amount of success could. Satisfied behind him, soft footsteps approached. Sophia Laurent, his wife of 7 years, appeared beside him, holding 2 steaming cups of coffee. She was beautiful in an understated way-long chestnut hair, warm hazel eyes, and a quiet elegance that had once captivated him. Now her presence felt like a familiar habit rather than a passion. "You're working too late again," she murmured. Handing him the cup, her fingers brushed his, and for a fleeting moment, he remembered why he had fallen for her. She had been his anchor, supporting him through every struggle as he built his company from nothing. "The Tokyo deal won't finalize itself," he replied, avoiding her gaze. "Henderson wants everything perfect by Monday." Sophia nodded, ever understanding. She had given up her own promising career in architecture to stand by him, never complaining about the long hours or missed anniversaries. "I saved you dinner, your favorite, the pasta, from that little Italian place we went to on our honeymoon." The mention of their honeymoon should have warmed him, but instead, it left a hollow ache. They had spent 2 weeks in Tuscany, tangled, in bedsheets, laughing under the sun. When had that passionate couple turned into these polite strangers sharing a gilded cage? The next morning, Ethan sat in his glass-walled office reviewing contracts when his assistant knocked. "Mr. Cross, Lena Voss from Premier Marketing is here for the Tokyo campaign discussion." Before he could respond, the door opened, and a woman walked in who made his breath catch. Lena Voss was stunning, platinum blonde hair cascading over her shoulders, emerald green eyes that sparkled with mischief, and a fitted red dress that hugged every curve. She moved with confidence, her heels clicking against the marble floor as she extended her hand. "Mr. Cross," she purred. "So much about you." Her touch sent an electric jolt through him. "Please, call me Ethan." "Then you must call me Lena," she replied, settling into the chair across from him. She crossed her legs, her gaze locked onto his. "I believe in creating campaigns that don't just sell products, they sell dreams." Their meeting stretched to hours past schedule. Ethan found himself laughing at her stories, sharing details about his company he'd never told anyone. When she finally stood to leave, a strange panic gripped him, like something precious was slipping away. "Maybe we should continue this over dinner," he heard himself say, "to ensure we're aligned on the strategy." Lena's lips curved into a slow smile. "I'd like that very much." That evening, Ethan lied to Sophia for the first time. It's emergency. "Meeting with investors," he said over the phone, hating himself even as the words left his mouth. "Of course," Sophia replied softly. "I'll keep your dinner warm." He met Lena at Aurelio, an intimate Soho restaurant he'd never been to with Sophia. The lighting was dim, the air thick with possibility. Lena had changed into a black dress that clung to her like a second skin, and Ethan found it impossible to focus on anything but her. "Tell me about yourself," she murmured, leaning forward. The real Ethan Cross, not the Forbes cover story. No one had asked him that in years. Sophia knew everything about him already, and business associates only cared about his net worth. But Lena listened, enraptured, as he spoke about his childhood fears, his dreams beyond money. "You're not what I expected," she said, her fingers brushing his. "You're so much more. It's interesting." He swallowed hard. "You're not what I expected." Either, when she suggested they continue the night at her apartment, he didn't hesitate. Her apartment was a study in seductions, soft lighting, silk sheets, the scent of jasmine in the air. She poured wine with practiced grace, her fingers lingering on the glass as she handed it to him. "You seem tense," she murmured, settling beside him on the couch. Her hand found his shoulder, kneading gently. "I shouldn't be here," he whispered, but he didn't move. "Sometimes we need to follow our hearts," she replied, her lips brushing his ear. "Life's too short for regrets." When she kissed him, 7 years of marriage dissolved in an instant. This was passion, raw, consuming, nothing like the comfortable love he had with Sophia. Her hands roamed his chest as he pulled her closer, both lost in a hunger that had been building all night. They stumbled into her bedroom, leaving a trail of clothes behind. Ethan's last coherent thought was of Sophia, waiting at home with his dinner still warm. Then Lena's mouth found his skin, and guilt was replaced by overwhelming desire as they fell onto the bed. Ethan crossed a line he could never uncross. The next morning, sunlight streamed through unfamiliar windows.
Ow.
Lena lay beside him, her blonde hair fanned across the pillow. She looked peaceful, satisfied. The weight of what he'd done crashed over him. He was a married man who had just betrayed his wife with a woman he barely knew. As he dressed silently, Lena stirred. "Leaving so soon?" "I have to go home," he muttered, avoiding her gaze. "Sophia will wonder where I am." Lena sat up, the sheets pooling around her waist. "Last night was incredible. Don't let guilt ruin something perfect." Before he could protest, she was in his arms again, kissing him deeply. "See you tonight?" she whispered against his lips. He should have said no. But looking into her emerald eyes, feeling the fire she ignited in him, he nodded. Same time, same place. As he left, he didn't see the smirk on Lena's face. He was already planning his next lie to Sophia, already addicted to the thrill of forbidden love. The golden cage of his perfect life had cracked, and Ethan Cross was about to learn that some prices were too high to pay for a man who could afford anything. The double life for 3 months, Ethan lived in a haze of lust and deception. His days were filled with board meetings and investor calls. But his nights belonged to Lena. He became an expert liar fabricating business trips, late-night emergencies, and sudden out-of-town obligations. Sophia, ever trusting, never questioned him. He would return home after midnight. Slipping into bed beside her, careful not to wake her, showered obsessively, scrubbing away the scent of Lena's perfume, something musky and expensive, nothing like Sophia's soft vanilla. But sleep never came easy. Instead, he lay awake, torn between guilt and anticipation. Lena was everything Sophia wasn't: wild, unpredictable, intoxicating. She challenged him, teased him, made him feel alive in a way he hadn't in years. Their encounters were electric stolen kisses in empty conference rooms, intimate dinners at hidden restaurants, nights tangled in silk sheets that left him breathless. Yet, with each passing day, the guilt gnawed at him. The cracks began to show. Sophia was no fool. She had built her own successful firm before sacrificing it for Ethan's dreams. And her sharp mind missed nothing. She noticed the small changes. His phone always face down. The way he flinched when she touched him, unexpectedly. The new cologne he claimed was a gift from a client. One evening, while Ethan was supposedly at a late meeting, Sophia decided to surprise him at his office. She arrived carrying his favorite takeout, the spicy Thai noodles he loved. The security guard smiled. "Good evening, Mrs. Cross." But when she reached his floor, his assistant Daniel paled. "Mr. Cross isn't here. He left hours ago for dinner with the marketing team." Sophia's stomach dropped. "Which restaurant?" Daniel hesitated. I'm not sure," he didn't say. She left without another word, her hands shaking. That night, when Ethan came home at midnight with another story about difficult clients, Sophia simply nodded. But something had shifted between them, an invisible fracture in the foundation of their marriage. The other woman, Lena Voss, always got what she wanted. At 30, she had clawed her way up the corporate ladder using a mix of beauty, brains, and ruthless ambition. Ethan Cross was her ultimate prize. Wealthy, powerful, surprisingly easy to manipulate. She had researched him before their first meeting, studying his marriage, his business, his weaknesses. Sophia Laurent Cross was elegant, intelligent, and devoted, but also predictable. Safe. Lena knew Ethan would crave fire. Their affair progressed exactly as she planned. He was infatuated, showering her with gifts, diamond earrings, designer dresses, even a luxury apartment lease under her name. One night as they lay in bed, she traced her fingers along his chest. "You're so beautiful," he murmured. "I've never felt this way about anyone," she smiled. "Not even your wife." His expression darkened. "Sophia is good, but what we have is different. It's real. Then why go back to her?" Lena whispered, pressing closer. "If you're happy with me, Why stay? Ethan hesitated. It's complicated, the business, our social circle. A divorce would be messy, she finished. I understand, but Ethan, do you love me? The words tumbled out before he could stop them. Yes. Lena kissed him deeply, hiding her triumph. The seed was planted. Now, she just had to make sure it grew. The discovery of the truth came out on a rainy Tuesday. Sophia had been working late in her home office when Ethan's phone buzzed on the kitchen counter. He was in the shower, and the screen lit up with a notification. Lena, can't wait to feel your hands on me again. Her blood turned to ice. With trembling fingers, she opened his phone. He still used their anniversary as the passcode. What she found destroyed her. Months of messages, hotel receipts, photos of Lena in his office, his car, their favorite restaurants. A complete record of his betrayal. When Ethan stepped out of the shower, he found Sophia at the kitchen table, his phone in her hands. Her face was pale, her voice eerily calm. Who is she? Ethan's stomach dropped. Sophia, I can explain. Who is she? Her name is Lena Voss. She works in marketing. It's not what you think. Sophia scrolled through the messages, her hands shaking. You tell her you love her. You've been seeing her for months. What exactly am I supposed to think? Ethan sank into a chair, running his hands through his hair. I never meant for this to happen. It just developed. Sophia's voice cracked. You made choices, Ethan. Every lie, every time you touched me after being with her, those were choices. The end of everything, the fight that followed, was brutal. Ethan tried to explain, to justify, to minimize. Sophia listened, her horror growing. As the man she loved revealed himself to be a stranger. Do you love her? She finally asked. Ethan hesitated. The silence was answer enough. Sophia stood, her legs unsteady. Then there's nothing left to say. Sophia, please, she recoiled when he reached for her. Don't touch me. As she packed a suitcase, Ethan stood helplessly in the doorway. He wanted to beg her to stay, but the words died in his throat. He had made his choice. I'll stay at Clara's tonight, Sophia said, her voice hollow. We'll discuss the rest through lawyers. When the door clicked shut behind her, Ethan was alone in the penthouse that had once been their home. He had everything: wealth, power, a beautiful woman who adored him. So why did it feel like he had lost everything that mattered? The aftermath, the silence in the penthouse, was suffocating. For 7 years, Sophia's presence had filled these rooms, her soft humming in the kitchen, the scent of her perfume lingering in the air, the way she curled into his side on the couch. While reading now, the space felt hollow, a museum of a life he'd destroyed. Ethan sat on the edge of their bed, staring at his wedding ring. He hadn't taken it off, not yet. His phone buzzed. Lena, miss you already. When can I see you? He should have felt excitement. Instead, a cold weight settled in his chest. He didn't reply. The new reality, 2 weeks after Sophia left, Tana moved in. She arrived with 12 suitcases and a triumphant smile. Her fingers already tracing the walls like she was redecorating. In her mind, this painting has to go, she said, wrinkling her nose at Sophia's favorite watercolor, delicate landscape from their honeymoon. Too bland. Ethan watched as she replaced it with something abstract and garish. She transformed the penthouse room by room. Sophia's cozy reading nook became a sleek bar. Her cherished herb garden was tossed in the trash. The warm lived-in feel was replaced with cold modernity. We need to make this ours, Lena purred, wrapping her arms around him. No ghosts. Ethan forced a smile. The hollow parties Lena loved hosting. She threw lavish dinners for Ethan's colleagues, dripping in diamonds and designer silk. Her laughter too loud. Her hands always possessive on his arm. Your wife is stunning. His CFO murmured at one event, quite the upgrade. Ethan's grip tightened on his glass. The parties were flawless. Expensive wine, gourmet food, curated guest lists. But something was missing. With Sophia, their gatherings had been intimate trio conversations about art and philosophy. Friends staying late because they didn't want to leave. Now people escaped the moment politeness allowed. Lena didn't. notice or didn't care. The shallow waters, Ethan began noticing things about Lena he'd overlooked during their affair. She had strong opinions about everything and facts about nothing. Her idea of deep conversation was celebrity gossip. She rolled her eyes when he mentioned politics or books. "Why depress yourself?" she said, when he brought up a humanitarian crisis. "Can't fix it." Sophia would have debated him for hours. Even the passion that had once consumed them now felt performative. Lena was beautiful, yes, but their intimacy lacked the vulnerability he'd shared with Sophia. One night, as Lena straddled him, her nails digging into his shoulders, Ethan closed his eyes and imagined his wife's gentle touch instead. He hated himself for it. Victoria's Secret across town, Sophia sat in a doctor's office, staring at an ultrasound. "You're 8 weeks along," Dr. Chen said gently. Given the timeline, the father would be my soon-to-be husband, Sophia finished, her voice steady. A baby. Ethan's baby. The cruelest irony, the family they'd once dreamed of, arriving in ruins. "Do you plan to tell him?" the doctor asked. Sophia's hand trembled as she touched the grainy image. No. The ultimatum, Lena's demands grew louder. A bigger ring, a society wedding, a prenup revision. "I want a real commitment." She pouted one morning, sliding a contract across the breakfast table. "Sign this." Ethan scanned it, a guarantee of millions if he left her. He laughed humorlessly. "Romantic." Lena's eyes hardened. "You think I'd walk away with nothing after what you put me through?" "What I put you through? I gave up everything for you." Ethan stared at her. "You got exactly what you wanted." For the first time, Lena looked at him with something like hatred. The accidental truth for months after the separation. Ethan saw her. Sophia was in Central Park, her coat slightly open. One hand resting on the unmistakable curve of her stomach, pregnant. His breath left his lungs. She turned, and froze when she saw him. "Sophia," he choked out. Her hand instinctively covered her belly. Ethan's voice broke. "Is that mine? Sophia's?" Eyes were glacial. "Goodbye, Ethan." As she walked away, Lena's words from that morning echoed in his skull. "Sign the papers, or I walk." For the first time, the choice was easy. The confrontation, Ethan stood frozen as Sophia disappeared into the park crowd, her silhouette softened by the swell of pregnancy. His mind raced through calculations at months since their separation, which meant she'd been carrying this secret for nearly half that time. He didn't remember getting home. Lena was waiting in the penitentiary holding up her phone. "Where the hell have you? We're done." The words came out hoarse. Lena's perfect brows arched. "Excuse me?" Ethan yanked open their safe, grabbing passports and financial documents. "You heard me. Pack your things." Slow, venomous smile spread across Lena's face. "Let me guess. You saw her?" The way she said it, like Sophia was some pathetic obstacle, made Ethan's hands fist. "She's pregnant. With my child." "And you think that changes anything?" Lena's laugh was razor sharp. "Never take you back." The truth of it burned, but Ethan met her gaze. "I don't deserve to be taken back, but I sure as hell don't deserve you either." The divorce war, Lena fought dirty. She leaked rumors to tabloids. Tech titan abandons pregnant wife for younger woman. Now dumps her too. She froze their joint accounts. She even showed up at Sophia's apartment, screaming about infidelity until security dragged her away. Through it all, Sophia remained silent. Ethan saw the paparazzi photos his ex-wife shielding. Her belly, as she rushed into her obstetrician's office, her face drawn but determined. Every glimpse carved another piece from his soul. His lawyer slid a document across the table. Lena's settlement demands. "It's extensive." Ethan didn't glance at the numbers. "Give her whatever she wants. You're letting her take. I don't care." The birth, Leo Alexander Cross, entered the world on a stormy April night. 6 pounds 9 ounces, with his father's stubborn chin and his mother's delicate fingers. Ethan learned about it from a private investigator's email. Mother and child. Healthy. Discharged this morning. Attached was a single photo, Sophia cradling their son. Exhaustion and awe etched into her face. Ethan broke down in his empty penthouse, screaming into his hands until his throat was raw. The olive branch 3 days later, an envelope arrived. Inside, a birth announcement. Leo Alexander Cross, April 12th, 8:02 p.m. 6 pounds 9 ozond, a note in Sophia's precise handwriting, if you want to meet him. These are my terms. The attached list was brutal. Supervised visits only, no contact with Lena Verm. Aver mandatory. Co-parenting, counseling, financial support through a trust, no direct payments at the bottom. Single line, this isn't for you, it's for... Ethan signed without hesitation. The first meeting. The family center smelled like antiseptic and baby powder. Sophia sat stiffly in a plastic chair. Leo swaddled in her arms. She looked old or not, in wrinkles. But in the way her eyes no longer softened when she saw him. Ethan approached like a man walking to the gallows. He has your nose, Sophia said quietly. A tiny hand escaped the blanket, waving aimlessly. Ethan's breath hitched. Can I? Sophia hesitated, then nodded. The moment his fingers brushed his son's, something fractured in Ethan's chest. Leo's eyes, hazel like Sophia's, blinked up at him, curious and unfocused. I'm sorry, Ethan whispered to the baby, to Sophia too. The universe. Sophia's jaw tightened. Sorry doesn't rebuild a life. She didn't take Leo back. The first year Ethan marked time and milestones he wasn't there for. First smile, blurry photo texted by Sophia's lawyer. First tooth, a notification from the pediatrician's portal he'd insisted on access. First word, mama. Of course, he attended every supervised visit, sitting stiffly in family cordo, prove centers while Sophia watched him like a hawk. Leo would gum at a teething toy, oblivious to the tension. You're late, Sophia said at visit #12. Ethan adjusted his tie. Board meeting ran over. She scoffed. Priorities. Didn't argue. The accident had happened on a Tuesday, Sophia's. Frantic call at 3 a.m. Leo's running a fever 104 degrees. They're admitting him to Lenox Hill. Ethan broke every speed limit getting there. The hospital room was too bright. Leo looked tiny in the plastic crib, an IV taped to his chubby hand. Sophia slumped in a chair, her hair greasy from stress. They think it's RSV, she muttered. Ethan reached for Leo's foot, the only part not tangled in wires. I didn't. You call sooner? Her glare could have melted steel. I did, a nurse interrupted. Only parents can stay overnight. Sophia opened her mouth, then froze. Ethan saw the realization hit her. They were still legally married. The divorce had stalled. When Lena contested the settlement, I'll go, he said quickly. Sophia's fingers dug into the chair arms. ... You can stay for him. They spent the night on either side of the crib, taking turns mopping Leo's forehead with cool cloths. At dawn, when the fever broke, Sophia finally slept, her head pillowed on her arms, her fingers still curled around their son's ankle. Ethan draped his suit jacket over her shoulders. She didn't shrug it off. The break through the counseling sessions were brutal. You emotionally abandoned her, Dr. Ruiz said. Then you fucked someone else in your marital bed. Ethan flinched. I know. Sophia stared at the floor. But after the hospital, something shifted. She started allowing unsupervised visits. 2 hours. At the park, then 4. Then whole Saturdays. One afternoon, Ethan found a sticky note in Leo's diaper bag. He likes the blue spoon. And don't let him nap past 3 or he'll be up all night, she framed it. The confession Lena's tell-all interview dropped on Christmas Eve. He begged me to ruin his marriage, she purred to the cameras. Said his wife was frigid, boring. Turned off the TV, his hands shook. Sophia was already at the door, Leo on her hip. We're here for his presence, she said coldly. Not you. He blocked her path. None of that was true. Does it matter? She adjusted Leo's reindeer sweater. You still chose her? Ethan did something then that shocked them both. He knelt.
Ow.
Right there in the foyer. I will spend every day proving I deserve even 5 minutes with him, he said hoarsely. With you, however you'll let me. Leo chose that moment to yank Ethan's hair. Duh. Sophia's breath caught. First word after all. The choice spring. Came Sophia stood in Ethan's newly modest apartment, no penthouse. No Lena, just toys scattered across the floor, and handed him a document. Final divorce papers, she said. Ethan's heart stopped. Then she added, and this, a second file. Inside, custody agreement. 50/50th split. He looked up, stunned. Sophia's smile was faint. He deserves his father. Ethan reached for her hand. Let him take it for 3 seconds before pulling away. One step at a time, she warned. But for the first time in years, Ethan saw a glimmer of hope. The epilogue. Leo's 3rd birthday party was held in Central Park, same place Ethan had first seen. Sophia pregnant. Now their son careened across the grass, smearing cake on his overalls, while Sophia laughed. Slow down, Tornado, Ethan called. Leo ignored him, barreling into Sophia's legs. She scooped him up, pressing a kiss to his sticky cheek. Over his head, her eyes met Ethan's. Not forgiveness, not yet. But something warmer than hate. Later, when the guests were gone, Ethan lingered by the stroller. I could walk you home, Sophia. Adjusted Leo's sun hat. We're okay. A pause. Then, but you can come for dinner next Sunday if you want. Ethan's throat tightened. I'll bring the pasta from that place in Tuscany. For the first time in years, Sophia's smile reached. Her eyes, one step at a time, she repeated. And for the first time, Ethan believed they might actually get there.